What's up, Browns fans? Nathan Zagura here in Berea. Only one more day to go to the 2021 NFL Draft. This is Browns Live Draft Specials all week long, presented by Graham and Fisk's Wine in a Can. On today's show, we have an exclusive one-on-one with the Browns Director of Player Personnel, Dan Saganey, talking about this draft process and getting you as much insight as we possibly can into the Browns' plans for the 2021 Draft. We're also going to go through some mock drafts. Myself, Andrew Gribble, Jason Gibbs put together our 3-round mock draft. So the first 4 picks of the Browns, we will take a look at those on today's show. I'll give a little analysis as what I see, and we're going to fly blind on those. So you're going to get my natural reactions to those here on the air. Some news from around the NFL that could shake up the draft a little bit. The Carolina Panthers traded quarterback Teddy Bridgewater to the Denver Broncos for a 6th-round pick. People are saying that the Broncos still very much in play for a quarterback at number 9. Bridgewater reunited with George Payton, who was in the front office in Minnesota when they drafted him, as well as his offensive coordinator from his time in Minnesota. Some competition for Drew Lock in Denver, and as I said, a quarterback still very much on the table for them at number 9. As we're just a day away, some of these things are starting to happen. More deals could be coming as teams really try to cement their situation, their status, and their preparation for the 2021 NFL Draft that's happening right here in Cleveland. And look, we know yesterday we tried to get with Chris Rose, but unfortunately on live TV, sometimes things happen. But today, Chris Rose is out and about in Cleveland. So let's take a look at what he's up to.
Hey everybody, Chris Rose from the NFL Network here in town to cover the NFL Draft in my hometown. That's right, I grew up in Shaker Heights, Ohio, a diehard Browns, Indians, and Cavs fan. Look at how cute I was back in the day. What the heck happened to me? Anyway, my family had Browns season tickets from 1946 through 1995. My wife and my 2 sons, all born and raised in LA, huge Cleveland sports nuts. So we're super excited to show off the draft this week and how you can enjoy it as well. Now, one thing I love about my hometown, we take care of our own. In fact, the Cleveland Browns, they started a program called the Cleveland Huddle, where they help out Black-owned restaurants, very much like Sauce the City here on the near west side. Now, my man, the owner, Vic, he said we have great grub, and I'm kind of a food aficionado, so let's do a little taste testing. I'm hungry. My man, Chef Vic.
What's going on, man?
Look.
How you doing?
Look.
How you doing?
Oh, you hooked it up.
Yes,
I told everybody I'm hungry, so
Yes.
I don't know if I can even get through all my questions before I start digging in.
I got you, man.
But I do want to know about Cleveland Huddle. Is it fair to say that without that program, that your restaurant isn't around?
Yeah, it's fair to say that. I mean, the Cleveland Huddle, they're so intimate and so hands-on with helping like small businesses, local restaurants, and communities. So I love them. They actually help us expand because our mission is all about Cleveland. So it's all about Clevelanders, Cleveland people, Cleveland purveyors, Cleveland vendors. So everything that you see here was provided by a Cleveland purveyor.
It feels like Sauce the City is more than just a building with 4 walls, that it's got a heartbeat to it.
Exactly, it does, man. I mean, we started this company with only $700, man. I was chosen in a competition, in a food cooking competition. I was able to take that 700, and we're going on year 4 now. We have the best chicken sandwich in the city, the Cleveland Hot Chicken Sandwich, and which we got one for you. Making sure.
I'm salivating right
Yeah,
now.
we
Just
making
looking.
sure,
I'm having a
we
hard
making
time
sure.
keeping my eye contact with you. I got to be honest with
It's
you.
okay, man. This is the #1 chicken sandwich in the city of Cleveland, man. So when you taste this, your life is going to change, okay? When you bite into it, you're going to go back to childhood, you know? You're going to have a nostalgic type of feel, man. I'm telling you, the sweetness, the heat, the flavor, the savoriness, everything all in one, man.
You already won me over. I haven't even tasted it
Yes,
yet.
sir. Yes,
but this
sir.
is all going to be available at the draft, right?
Yeah, so we wanted to make sure people are able to walk around.
Sure.
So we basically, the Cleveland Corn Bowl is the Cleveland Hot Chicken Sandwich,
yeah.
but just without,
Cut up.
it's more mobile. It's more mobile. So now we have the Corn Bowl and we have the elote street corn. So this is going to be available. So these 2 items are going to be available at the booths.
Well, I travel with my own fork wherever I go, just
There
in
it
case
is.
a restaurant breaks out and they're about to offer me free food. So I'm going to give this a shot.
Try it out, man.
All right. Oh my God. You want some? Come here. Sorry.
Amazing.
That was
Amazing.
cool. This is great.
Yes.
This is so good.
You feel the
God.
different flavors in there, the sweetness, the spice, everything is in there, man.
I'm in.
And it's healthy. Hey.
That away.
It's just, we're not going to talk about calories,
No,
man.
no.
You know,
No.
just eat, man.
There
It's
are
gonna
no
be good.
calories
It's
during the
gonna be
NFL
good.
draft. Just
Yes.
remember that.
We made it, man. We made it.
So this is outstanding. This is like an 11 out of 10.
Thank you,
I'm
sir.
not just
Thank
saying
you.
that because my man Chef Vic is here. By the way, my mama would slap me for talking with my mouth full, but that's just what we do sometimes as native
Exactly.
Clevelanders. All right, Chef Vic, how can people find out more about Sauce the City?
Well, they can follow us on Instagram at Sauce the City, or they can come down to see us at 1400 West 25th Street, Cleveland, Ohio.
Nice. Well, by the way, I'm not just taking free food from you. We're givers here as well. So look at this. You're like, oh man, Denzel. No, it's Sauce the City.
Yeah, yeah.
There you go. So wear that to the Browns
Whoa,
game next
there we
season.
go.
Hey, thanks for hanging out with us.
Thanks,
Continued
Chris,
success.
man.
All
I
right.
appreciate you, man.
All right.
Appreciate you, bro.
Look forward to tomorrow on our next step on the draft train.
I'm Graham.
And I'm Fist.
And we're the founders of Man Can Wine.
And Graham and Fist, wine in a can.
100% California award-winning wine in a proven package. And announcing our Rookie of the Year, 8.4 ounces of award-winning California wine.
We've got red, we've got white, we've got rosé with bubbles, and we've got white with bubbles.
All with Wine Enthusiast Magazine Best Buy Awards.
Shipped right to your door.
Visit footballwine.com.
Order now.
Welcome to Cleveland, home of the 2021 draft.
With the first pick, the Cleveland Browns select.
He's got it! Touchdown! And here comes Chubb. He's going! He's going! He's gone! Nick Chubb is in! Touchdown!
Welcome to the land. Let's rock the clock.
At university hospitals, our sports medicine experts bring science and compassion together to develop personalized care plans for athletes at every level, from peewee to pro. The same experts who care for the Cleveland Browns, the Cleveland Monsters, and the Cleveland Ballet keep our local athletes performing at their best. Schedule an appointment at uhsports.org. University Hospitals, the science of health, the art of compassion.
The door to a car you've been saving for. The door to a personal loan that feels genuinely personal. The door to a bedroom for each of your teenagers. The door to a new employee who's also your neighbor. And the door to a happy and full life for you and everyone you know. This year, KeyBank has already opened over 170,000 doors, helping people get from where they were to where they wanted to be. KeyBank opens doors.
Arby's, 2 for $6. Every day, Greek gyros and a spicy one. Opa! 2 of those things for just $6. Arby's, we have the meats.
Welcome back into the Browns Live Draft Week special presented by Graham and Fist's Wine in a Can, and it is time now to bring in an esteemed guest. We call him a Big L luminary. That's right, he is the Director of Player Personnel for your Cleveland Browns, Dan Saganey. And Sags, first of all, it is great to see you. Here we are a day away from the draft. Can you believe we're finally here? I imagine so much work has gone into this that it's got to feel almost like, Christmas Eve or the night before your birthday here as you sit one day away from the 2021 draft.
Yeah, 100%, man. We're very excited. It is like, a full year process that really does go into this. So, it's nice to have all our scouts back in the building first and foremost. These guys have done an unbelievable job all year through a lot of adverse circumstances, and everybody's input here goes into the final product of what our draft board looks like. So we're pretty excited to get started, excited for Thursday night, Friday, and Saturday.
I talked with Andrew Barry about that earlier in the week, something that you just touched on, the collaboration. And he said what's been neat about this year, other than different from last year because everything happened so fast, and was that everybody's been able to be together. And he said, we really have had full transparency and so many voices in the process. And I imagine, we get to sit here and I sit outside the studio and I see a lot of the guys in your department working so hard, grinding that tape, becoming, aspiring Mofs, men of film. How do it's got to be great for them to feel like they actually have a voice and have an input that could potentially impact something that happens.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we do consider everybody's voice very equal here. There's, a lot of people that are involved in all different steps along the way here. And, if you're going to do the work, you should have an opinion. You should have a voice. It doesn't necessarily have to be the loudest voice in the room that's right. That's kind of how it works. And we value, the way Andrew runs things, and the way I think we choose to run our department is we appreciate lots of different voices from lots of different backgrounds. And, everybody here works very hard, and they've done a great job through this whole process. And it's been great to, have a very collaborative approach to this thing the last couple of years.
Do you find as you go through this and you're in the business and you're studying film that certain people, whether it's a position that they played or it's just something they have a knack for, do you find that certain people become kind of specialists at certain positions? Like, this guy's really good with wide receivers, or this guy's great with the offensive line or the defensive line. Does that kind of happen? Is that something that happens?
You think it would more than it does, I would say. Like, it's funny. You may think you had a great year evaluating receivers one year. You're like, I nailed this guy, I was right on this guy, I was wrong on this guy. And then you look at your grades 4 years from now on the draft right before that, and you're like, I missed on this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy. So, again, we all try to, we have, development plans for all of our scouts here. We all try to get better. Whether it's evaluating different positions, whether it's getting better at different parts of the yearly process between pro scouting, college scouting, working with contracts, everything that we do, we're all always trying to get better. And again, every time we watch all the receivers, every time we watch all the linebackers, we're all watching them together, and everybody's got a different different view on how they view that player, specifics of that position, small things here and there that you can. That younger scouts can pick up from some veteran scouts, and it really is like a full learning process for everybody every year. And we really do, like, it sounds cliche, but like we reset the board every year, and it's a completely new class starting a week after the draft, really. So, which is
wild. You get a brief moment to celebrate, and then it's right back to the work for the next year. It keeps going. Yeah. A lot of people who watch this show and a lot of people who listen and are obviously huge Browns fans. They are so envious of your job. They love your job. Heck, I'm envious of your job. So if you had anything out there for an aspiring young scout, what would be the one piece of advice that you would give them? Not necessarily to crack the NFL, but to hone their craft, to become good at. What's the one core skill that's essential?
Yeah, I would give the same exact advice that was given to me when I first decided that I wanted to get into NFL player personnel, and that was, I kind of went the coaching route and got into evaluating and personnel. But the advice that was given to me was be a sponge. And whatever your job is, try to be the best you can at it, and, learn to see the game from different points of view. So, I played offensive line. I coached tight ends, offensive line, defensive line, receivers. And that, all that perspective really taught me how to see the game from different perspectives, different points of view. And again, I really appreciated going the coaching route because I was this again was some advice that was given to me. It was like, if you can coach it and teach it, that will make you a better scout whenever you do get that opportunity to come in. So when I was coaching for a couple of years, I learned from some great people. And you really learn how to work in football. You learn when you're coaching college football, you learn what a yearly process looks like. When you're in the NFL for the first time, you're seeing what preseason scouting looks like, what the regular season looks like, into draft meetings, into the combine, into pro days, and into where we are now in the final evaluation stages. So.
I hope everybody's taking copious notes right there. That is valuable information for Mr. Saganey right there. You mentioned the combine in that question. Before we get into free agency, I just want to touch on this. How hard was it this year without the combine, or how did that impact things for you?
I would say the biggest impact was a little bit slower with some medical information,
right,
and seeing the workouts come in. Typically, if you have 250 players, whatever it is, work out at the combine, you get those workouts right off the bat, and you're really not waiting for a ton of extra information with some players. Again, the pro days this year were a little bit delayed and more spread out through the month of March into early April. So that delayed it slightly, but at the end of the day, I think our information was good. I think our staff did a great job with our interviews with players through this spring, and really digging on the things that we needed to dig on and confirming what we needed to confirm with some players. So, it was different not going to Indy and not having everything right there for you, but I think at the end of the day, the information, that we needed to get has been great, and everybody's done a really nice job gathering it.
Do you think that not being in Indy, so for me personally, the answer to this question is yes, but you're certainly in a much more important position and in the personnel side of it, but I feel like not having Indy this year, I learned so much when I'm there. I don't know if you guys do, and people in the league are all in one place. They're all talking. They're all at the bars late night. So you kind of sometimes get more of that chatter of what the feelings are. Has that been a change, not having that? And perhaps you feel better about, look, nobody knows what we're doing, but maybe we don't have as much of an idea as what's going on in other, draft rooms and draft boards as well.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's an interesting question. I mean, I do think we've done a good job gathering the information that we need to get.
Yeah.
You certainly get a lot more informal information when you're, around your buddies and you just sit and listen and again, be a sponge with what you're trying to gather. When we go to Indy, we are very much in information gathering mode in a lot of different ways. And it's great because you do get to see your friends with other teams. You get to hear bits and pieces that, may provide, negative information here or there. But at the end of the day, I think as long as you're organized with how you collect your information and, you feel comfortable with your sources, you can do that over the phone just as easy. So it was definitely different this year, but I think it all worked out in the end for us.
So just to kind of give the fans some perspective, the board is set or 99% of the way set here a day out before the draft. And have you guys been going through scenarios of how things could unfold that could change what you do at 26?
Yeah, I think there's, we go through a lot of different practice exercises, whether it's mock drafts, whether it's just conversations that, one conversation turns into an hour-long conversation and debate and different thoughts with how we would handle certain situations that pop up, when you're on the clock, when you're making trade calls at each point in the draft. So, I think in general we have a pretty good sense of who we like at certain spots, and at this point it's, sitting back and letting the board come to you and, again, being opportunistic, but also, being very aware of any and all trade scenarios that can come up that could help us long term. So,
all right. So you mentioned trade scenarios. How do you think about the notion of, or does the organization think about the notion of, trading back, trading up, using multiple assets to get one player, trading back as you did last year, so artfully, move back a few spots, still get Grant Delpit, and guess what? Nick Harris for free. Come on down to the Browns. How do you kind of weigh those scenarios, and how special or, how differently tiered must a player be at a position for you to say, look, yes, we want to invest multiple valuable assets to acquire their services?
Yeah, I think, again, this goes back to the collaboration piece that Andrew's hit on so much. So for us, we have a broad variety of people in our draft room helping us make these decisions together. So, we're avoiding emotional decisions. We're trying to make decisions to obviously acquire the best players we can, but if there's a chance to, move back a couple spots and acquire a pick later that we think can turn into a really good player, then we're just as excited to do that. And if there's a certain player that, we feel is significantly, above the rest of the pack, we're not afraid to, trade up and go get him if we need to. So, again, the more picks you can acquire through the course of a year cycle in the NFL, I think the better. It gives you more flexibility. And, again, you try to avoid reaching for players, and you try to acquire as many good players as you can long term. So,
well, I think this has been fascinating stuff, and the Browns have 9 picks here in the 2021 draft. But Sags, at this time, usually there are clear holes, but you guys had a heck of a free agency period. I'm sure Joe Woods has come and given you a lot of hugs with everything that your personnel department has done to help him out on the defensive side of the ball. So just real quickly, how do you feel about how free agency went and just kind of the overall state of where this roster is? And we've seen, Pro Football Focus said the Bucs and the Browns have the most complete rosters in the NFL right now. How do you feel about kind of where you are headed into this draft, still knowing you had an opportunity to add some nice talent and players to this organization?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're obviously very excited about the players that we did add. I mean, adding John Johnson, Anthony Walker in the middle of the defense. I mean, we talked about it on the show last time. Anytime you can improve the communication in the middle of the field and add versatile players, I think it's a a great way to upgrade your defense in addition to what those players can do outside the box. We're excited about the players on the edge that we added. We're excited about Troy Hill. Again, players with flexibility and, can play multiple spots for us. And, you can really never have enough defensive linemen. So the fact that we could add Talk, and Clowney in the same year, we're excited about that to pair with Miles and Malik and the other guys that we have in the building. So heading into the draft, we feel, we're obviously excited about where we are, but we have a long way to go. Everybody in the building is aware of that. Everyone will tell you that. And, we're excited to hopefully get everybody back here working together soon, particularly once we add this rookie class into the mix.
Well, it's certainly going to be a lot of fun. Browns fans are excited. I'll tell you what, Chris Kiffin's also excited that you could add those guys in the same year as well. Browns Director of Player Personnel, Dan Saganey, our guest. Thanks so much for the time, Dan, and good luck tomorrow. Have fun. Enjoy. It's going to be a wild weekend, I'm sure.
We will. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
All right. We will be back with more of this Browns Live Draft Special presented by Graham and Fisk's Wine in a Can right after this.
I'm Graham.
And I'm Fisk.
And we're the founders of Man Can Wine.
And Graham and Fisk, wine in a can.
100% California award-winning wine in a proven package. And announcing our Rookie of the Year, 8.4 ounces of award-winning California wine.
We've got red, we've got white, we've got rosé with bubbles, and we've got white with bubbles.
All with Wine Enthusiast Magazine Best Buy Awards.
Shipped right to your door.
Visit footballwine.com.
Order now.
Wendy's new jalapeno popper chicken sandwich and salad prove Wendy's goes all in on flavor. Unlike...
We put a bun inside the sandwich. Bun, bun, bun.
Hurry into Wendy's and try the new jalapeno popper chicken duo today.
Dad, what are you doing?
I'm putting extra spring in our spring cleaning sale.
Is that what you call it?
During our spring cleaning sale,
lease a new Trax for $99 a month or a new Equinox for $149 a month.
And get our free 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty.
If you're worried about bad credit, no problem. We can help.
So if you're thinking Chevy,
think Serpentini in Westlake, Medina, Willoughby Hills, Talmadge, Orville, and Strongsville.
American
and proud of it. Pretty good springs for an old guy.
Great philosopher Socrates once said, "To find yourself, think for yourself." Great philosopher Arby's once said, "Y'all ever put spicy sauce on a 2 for €6? Arby's, we have the meats.
Discount Drug Mart is your trusted hometown healthcare provider and your immunization destination. And now Drug Mart is your convenient, quick, and safe destination for the COVID-19 vaccine. Simply register for your free vaccine at covid.discount-drugmart.com. No endlessly searching for an appointment. We will contact you in the way that works best for you. Then you will choose the date and time to schedule your vaccination. Simple as that. Discount Drug Mart is proud to serve our communities.
No matter how early you're up or how late you're running, when you start your day at Speedway, we've got what you need to have a good morning. We've got it hot. We've got it cold. We've got it sprinkled. We've got it ready. We're here to make your morning a little better. Because when you get off to a better start, you go on to a better day. The official convenience store of the Cleveland Browns.
Wendy's new jalapeno popper chicken sandwich and salad prove Wendy's goes all in on flavor. Unlike...
We put a bun inside the sandwich. Bun, bun, bun.
Hurry into Wendy's and try the new jalapeno popper chicken duo today.
Welcome back to Browns Live. The Draft Week specials roll on. Only one more day to go. And of course, today's Browns Live is presented by Graham and Fisk's Wine in a Can. Great insight from Dan Saganey, the Browns Director of Player Personnel. I hope you all enjoyed that. But now let's get into a little fun, a little mock draft season, if you will, as Andrew Gribble, Jason Gibbs, and myself put together our mock drafts. And we'll start with Andrew Gribble, Jason Gibbs, mock draft right here. And Gibby going deep. We'll start with Joe Tryon, the edge from Washington. And I do think it certainly is possible the Browns do take an edge rusher in round one. Now, you've brought in Jadeveon Clowney and Tack McKinley, but both on one-year deals. Tryon opted out last year, but had 12.5 tackles for loss, 8 sacks in 2019. He's Dane Brugler's 5th-graded edge defender and would be a nice fit there as the Browns are looking for a long-term answer. Certainly looks the part, would absolutely get time to develop here behind Myles Garrett and Tack and Clowney. In the second round, cornerback Paulson Adebo out of Stanford, and that's an interesting one. I like Adebo. Adebo's a guy at 6'1", 198 pounds, was first-team All-Pac-12 in both 2018 and 19. He opted out last year. He's got the size and the length to play the cover 3 press man scheme that the Browns play a lot of. This is a tall, long, physical athlete, as I mentioned, but how about these numbers? 38 passes defensed in 2018 and 2019. In 18, he had 24 and was second-team All-American. At pick 3, third-round pick number 89, James Hudson, the offensive tackle out of Cincinnati, a Toledo guy, a local Ohio kid who began his career as a defensive lineman at Michigan, moves to Cincinnati to play offensive line. Last year, he ends up being first-team All-ACC as a left tackle. Good feet, good movement skills, an ideal fit in a zone scheme, which we, of course, run here in Cleveland. And with the departure of Kendall Lamb, you could see the Browns obviously wanting to add in another tackle for the future to join Chris Hubbard, the veteran. And finally, his last pick, and I like this one, and I know Mike Prefer does as well, Dwayne Eskridge, the wide receiver from Western Michigan. He was the MAC Special Teams Player of the Year, and he can flat out fly. This is a guy who takes the top off of a defense, 5'9", 190 pounds, ran a 4.39 40. He averaged over 20 yards a catch 3 straight seasons. Last year led the FBS in all-purpose yards per game. As I said, he was the MAC Special Teams Player of the Year. Think about this. Last year, 131 yards per game receiving, over 23 yards per catch, 27.5 yards per kick return. So I like that. And again, I think you're going to see some themes here. A corner, a running back, a corner, a wide receiver, and a pass rusher amongst the 3. And then his wild card, Gibbs went with an offensive tackle. Let's go to Andrew Gribbles now, and you'll see that same theme. Cornerback, edge rusher, wide receiver, his wild card, a linebacker, Dylan Moses out of Alabama. Newsome, I think that's a home run selection right there at the end of the first round. We've talked about that quite a bit. Newsome, he gives you all you want. First team All Big Ten last year, 10 passes broken up each of the last 2 seasons. Number 1 in the country in terms of a 15.7 passer rating against, allowed only 1 completion of more than 10 yards. That would be a home run. That's ideal. Now, Gribbs is saying, Gibby, you overpaid. You overpaid for Joe Tryon. I'm getting him at number 59 here, the edge rusher out of Washington. And then he goes to the wide receiver position in the 3rd with Amari Rodgers, the receiver out of Clemson, 5'9", 212, 77 catches, 1,020 yards, and 7 touchdowns last year. He led the ACC in receptions, was first-team All-ACC. He's built like a running back. He's great after the catch, good on jet sweeps. He's kind of like a Deebo Samuel for the 49ers is how he would be used here with the Browns. And a tough guy, too. Tore his ACL early in 2019 and was back last year having a phenomenal season for Clemson. So a tough guy, great football IQ, and would add something to that receiver room. And then Dylan Moses, the linebacker out of Alabama, never lived up to the billing there, but we know the Browns like to take chances on 5-star recruits, and he was a 5-star recruit there. He's got a surgically repaired knee, so as I said, first team in the SEC at linebacker, but never really was what they expected as that 5-star recruit. But somebody in the middle rounds, you take a gamble on, and maybe the coaching and the situation, you get the best out of him. One time considered a very elite prospect. So the theme continues. Wide receiver, cornerback, pass rusher. You get that with me here as well. Elijah Moore's my pick in the first round. So in my mock, all the corners were gone. Newsome was not available to me. And I preferred the wide receiver here to the edge. Now, I do think you could see the Browns trade back here as well out of 126. But I went with Elijah Moore, who is really kind of that elite, shifty, playmaking wide receiver. Last year, 11 catches, 149 yards per game, both most in the country, 4.37 40. He draws comparisons to Antonio Brown. He creates separation. He knows how to help you in the jet sweep game, help you in the return game. I think he's one of the better players in this draft, and I think would be at a real skill set that the Browns don't currently have. Second round, similar to Gibbs, I go with a corner. Ifeatu Melifonwu out of Syracuse, 6'3", incredible movement skills, tall, long, can play that press corner, the cover 3, much like Adebo, who Gibbs had there. He's a guy that fits this defense, the cover 3 press man scheme, kind of Antonio Cromartie, Brandon Browner, 20 passes defensed in his last 19 games. And there are other corners. I think if you don't start with a corner, that second round is a real good place to go. And you got Melifonwu, Adebo that we heard about, Kelvin Joseph out of Kentucky, Tyson Campbell and Eric Stokes from Georgia, Aaron Robinson, Elijah Molden. Those are all names to consider for the Browns here. And then in the third round, I went Peyton Turner, defensive end out of Houston. He's got the size, 6'6", 270, fits the mold right there. 18.5 tackles for loss and 9 sacks in his last 17 games, and he'll have time to learn and develop. So I like the opportunity to get Turner here and add a playmaking stud wide receiver in the first round. What will Andrew Berry do? We'll see. And then finally, I rounded out with Chaz Surratt, a linebacker out of North Carolina, over 100 tackles per season the last 2 years, 2-time first-team All-ACC. And he's a little bit of a project. Not perfect in coverage yet. Knows how to blitz the quarterback, though, over 6 sacks each of the last 2 seasons. But he is a former quarterback, so he's raw, has a lot of upside, and he's a guy that I think could develop into a true 3-down linebacker as he continues to improve his comfort in space and in coverage. So that's one that you're taking and saying maybe down the line we can get a little bit better with that. So that's a look at our mocks, the first 3 rounds. The theme again, corner, receiver, edge. We'll see if that plays out with Andrew Berry and company over the next few days here when the draft kicks off in Cleveland. Speaking of the draft being in Cleveland, you guys want to be a part of it. The fan experience, it's the ultimate. And all you have to do is download the One Pass app. You see the map there. So many great things to do. It's open Thursday 12 to 10, Friday 12 to 11, Saturday 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Download the One Pass app in the App Store. Register for all the action at the NFL Draft Experience. You can run the 40. You can kick a field goal, catch a Hail Mary at First Energy Stadium. They have great exhibits and photo opportunities. A lot of cool stuff. So go on, enjoy beautiful Cleveland, and enjoy the NFL Draft Experience by getting the One Pass app. But as you guys know, Browns Live, it's all about you. So let's get some questions here using the hashtag Browns Live to wrap it up from I Wish I Was a Fox. Ned Fox Plimpton. Is there a selection out there that you believe would cause a mad dash on that position group? In that scenario, what mad dash could result in the most benefit for the Browns? This is pretty easy for me. You want to see offensive linemen go in the first round. So if tackles start coming off the board early and then there's a rush and guys that maybe look like they were second-round tackles end up going in the first round, that's what you want. The Browns are not drafting an offensive tackle in the first round of this draft. Not happening. Running backs, too. Go ahead and let's get them going. Najee Harris and Travis Etienne, Javonte Williams. All 3 of them before we pick, because that will push the guys that the Browns are looking at down. Whether that be corner, whether that be edge rusher, whether it be wide receiver, or whether it be just an unbelievable physical freak like Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, who has elite traits that Joe Woods certainly could employ in this defense. So say, offensive linemen, let's go. Running backs, let's go, draft them, and then let's get to the Browns at number 26. We got another fan question as well from HHR1II7. Do we need 9 picks? Why not trade up as much as possible and walk away with 5 or 6 players that have a better chance to help us? I do think that the Browns are in a position this year, and we talked with Dan Saganey about it in that earlier interview, to make a move up in this draft. If there is somebody that they covet to go ahead and package maybe that extra 3, an extra 4, and move around in this draft. You don't always need 9 players today, but these are the players that will help you over the next 4 to 5 years. So you can't be short-sighted. Yes, you have an opportunity to package a couple together to get somebody you really like and be aggressive if that's the case, whether it be in the first round, the second round. I think the Browns, certainly that's in play because you feel like you have a roster that can compete for a Super Bowl. That's when you use multiple assets to get a piece that you think really could make a difference. And we got one more fan question as we wrap it up here today. Mason Rezer says, Z, if J.C. Horn falls to 20, would you move up for him? I can't see moving up for anyone else. Well, the real thing is, who does Andrew Berry want to move up for? J.C. Horn, if he's there at 20, would I like that? You betcha I would. Let's go get that corner who is as talented as any in this draft. Unfortunately, recent mocks would seem to indicate J.C. Horn could be off the board as early as 12. as early as 10, but gone by pick number 12. The Eagles apparently covet J.C. Horn, so we'll see how that all shakes out. Arizona has been linked to him a lot, and that's at 16. So I don't know that he gets to 20, but if he did, that is exactly the kind of player we talked about in the previous scenario where you could look at moving up and getting that top corner on your draft board. Well, guys, we've seen some mocks, and the time for mocking is just about over. It's the time for action. Coming up tomorrow, we have got you covered once again. Oh yeah, you better believe it. Let's start at 6 o'clock, shall we? The Browns Live Draft Party 2021. Myself, Bo Bishop. We're going to have special guests, Kevin Stefanski, Kareem Hunt reportedly going to join us as well. All the content that you want, getting you ready for the draft on draft night. That starts at 6 tomorrow, the Browns Live Draft Party special. Then at 7 on News 5, we've got Browns Countdown. And then at 8 o'clock, all the way through the end of the first round of the draft on the Cleveland Browns University Hospitals radio network. Guess what? That's right. We've got you covered all night long. All the draft info you want, but the party really starts tomorrow at 6. The Browns Live Draft Party special presented by Graham and Fists Wine in a Can. Put it on your calendar. We will see you there tomorrow. Only one more sleep, Browns fans, until the draft is coming to town. We'll see you. Thanks for joining us on Browns Live.